a lot of us who aren't economists don't understand the idea of raising the interest rates and what that does and what it's supposed to do, as the Federal Reserve is now doing. How do they see it stopping inflation? And then what does it actually do to working people or to the majority of Americans?
Okay, great question. Let me go backwards and tell you what it'll do and then what it's supposed to be as a solution. So what raising interest rates will do, this is very practical. Everybody can understand this.
Yep.
It means that if you are ever in a situation of borrowing money, it's going to cost you more to do that once they raise interest rates than it did before.
Sure.
So let me give you an example of what this means. Anyone well, not anyone, but the vast majority of us in America, if we ever get into the position of owning our own home, an apartment or a house, we're going to borrow money to do that.
Mm-hmm.
It's such a common thing that it's a kind of borrowing that has its own name. It's mortgage lending or mortgage borrowing. The word mortgage simply means that the purpose of the borrowing is to buy a home, to buy a house. Okay. Most of us don't have the money to buy a house outright. That's why we have to borrow it.
Mm-hmm.
And typically, we work out with a lender, which is, again, usually a bank, but doesn't have to be. We work out with a lender, give us the money now to buy the house, and we will pay you back over a 10, 15, 20, or even 30-year period,
right,
so much every month. That will cover the repayment of what you're giving us to buy the house, plus the interest over however many years it is.
Sure.
That's how people buy houses. Okay, so the amount per month depends on the price of the house and the interest rate that you have to pay the lender who enables you to buy the house. If the interest rate goes up, the monthly amount you have to pay goes up accordingly.
Right.
And since you're a borrower, that's really what counts for you. Not so much the price of the house, not so much the amount of the loan, but what does it work out to every month for the next 20, 30 years? I may be planning to have a family. I may be planning all kinds of things. I forgot to budget whether this is doable. And so if you raise interest rates, you're going to make the cost of a home higher than it would have been otherwise as you pay your monthly bill. And what does that mean? More and more people are going to be priced out of it. But that's what it always means. If it's more per month, well, my budget between my husband and my wife or whoever's going in on it with you, you can't do it if it's more than X $100 a month or whatever the amount is.
Right.
And so we're going to see the demand for housing fall. That means the people who build houses will not build them as much as they did before. That means they're going to lay off carpenters and all the other kind of workers that make a house. If we don't build a number of new houses, we don't need the amount of new furniture. We don't need all the people who work making the cloth that covers our sofas.
Sure. And it puts pressure on the rental market as well.
Exactly. So
people aren't able to buy.
That's going to be a downer. People don't get it, but your job in some place in, I don't know, Oklahoma will be canceled because the folks in the lenders in New York City are jacking up the interest rates because that's what they have to pay. They're going to raise it. And you don't see the connection, but that's it.
Right.
The second example, the same thing with automobiles.
Right.
Most of us buy cars, with a 4 or 5 year payout plan. And again, the monthly cost of having the vehicle depends in part on the interest rate. They raise the interest rate, your monthly cost for the same, Chevy that you would have bought anyway at the same price now costs more. But what people don't get is we don't stop there. Your credit card at the end of the month, that has in there that amount, however much you used your credit card, then the minimum you pay. Well, the interest rates go up. And you're going to see that each month. And the amount you pay is going to go up. So the holding on to your debt, using your credit card, that's going to become more expensive. And if you're a student or you're thinking of going to university, the borrowing costs for student loans are going to. So everywhere, this is going to pinch, this is going to hurt, this is going to kill jobs, it's going to hurt incomes. The people who lose those jobs, the people who have to spend more each month on their credit card will have less money to spend in the restaurant with the pizza and the friends. And all of that ramifies, spreads out. So it's going to hurt. It's a deliberate act of the government of the United States, and it is designed to reduce spending.
Right.
Okay.
Get less dollars in circulation. Right.
Right. And why? Here's the logic. The idea is if people buy less, it is going to scare the businessmen and women. The people who sell to us are going to figure out we don't have the money we did before. We're paying off our credit card. We're paying off our mortgage. We're paying off our car. And that's costing more because the interest rates are up. So we just don't have it. And the idea is if the businesses see that we just don't have it, they're going to be less likely to raise prices than they otherwise would have, because if we don't have it to start with and you jack up the price to us of what you sell, well, then you can be pretty damn sure we're going to buy less of it, and you're going to be stuck with a high price, but for something you can't sell, and that puts you in difficulty. So
it's very roundabout. I mean, it's like a Rube Goldberg machine of trying to, instead of cutting it off at the source, and I know you've got a lot of good ideas and have written and spoken about them in terms of other ways other than raising interest rates, but it's like getting the business class, cajoling them through raising interest rates. But a lot of things have to happen. People have to get kicked out of their homes. People have to, not be able to put food on the table. There are so many negative impacts on the majority of Americans that have to happen for then prices to come down.
Right. I wish people understood it as well as you just said it. If you don't mind, I'm going to steal your very words. It is making the mass of people who bear no responsibility for the inflation pay the cost of fixing it. I mean, it would be as if you had a really nasty neighbor and they came over to your house and they told you, our toilet doesn't work. We called the plumber came over, it's $500. And I think it's appropriate. You're my neighbor. You pay half. And you'd go, what? It's your toilet. It's your house. I have nothing. I've never used your toilet. I got nothing to do with it. What are you talking about? But that's what we're really doing.
Yeah.
Because, and I can explain this.
You're the one who clogged it, in fact.
That's right. It's we won't go there, but the details, this is not my problem. This is your problem.
What's going on, Frantifa? If you haven't already, subscribe to this channel right now. Hit that button. And also, you can become a patron and support the show every single week. Get access to bonus episodes and exclusive merchandise. Patreon.com/Bitchuation Room. Do it.